Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Juan Carlos Brando, and it's for me a pleasure one more time to be hosting this show with one of the attorneys in the office of Margaret Wong and Associates. And today we're going to be talking with one of the experts in this litigation branch of the immigration field. So let's welcome the attorney Amanda Town. And she's going to be talking about many things that we want to learn in the immigration field. Hello, good afternoon, attorney. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. And one of the things that have been changing a lot in the last 3, 4 years is about people entering through the border, and now they had like a chance uh, to see if they could fix their immigration status here in the United States or to file an asylum. They were let in to the United States, but now is the time that they are having to go to court. So what is something that they should know before going to court after entering to the United States with a kind of permit, but not being allowed to work or to do some other stuff here?
Could you tell me a little bit more about what kind of scenarios we're looking at here? So they've entered the country about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes, and when they entered at the border, they were given those kind of parole papers that say, "Well, you are not an alien paroled into the United States. You are in removal proceedings, but we are going to let you stay in the United States." Now they have an NTA, and their court is coming soon. So, what should they do in order to go to that court?
Okay, so the notice to appear is what starts the immigration proceedings. The most important thing is that you show up to all hearings that are scheduled. If you don't show up for your hearing, you could be issued a removal order in absentia. The second most important thing you can do is talk to an experienced immigration attorney. Of course, there are a lot of factors into what forms of relief you might be eligible for, including how you arrived in the country, why you left your home country, any sort of criminal records, where your family's located, and things like that. So talking to an attorney is really important because we can look at the facts of your particular situation and figure out what's going to be the best approach for you.
Okay, thank you very much. And what happens if I have to attend to the immigration court hearing? And for example, I entered and my court is going to be in Los Angeles, but now I am living in Houston or Florida or Georgia. What should I do? Can I change that court hearing to my city?
Yeah, oftentimes you can. The first step would be to file forms with the court and with ICE, letting them know that you've moved so they have your current address. That way you can be sure you're going to get your notices for all of your hearings. You can also have an attorney file a motion for change of venue with the court so that the court can transfer your case from one city to another. Alternatively, sometimes it is possible to appear virtually, like via WebEx.
Okay, thank you very much, attorney. And don't forget the phone number that you can call to talk to the attorneys in the law firm of Margaret Wong and Associates is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. And that's the phone number that you need to call. And the attorney, either Margaret Wong or one of the attorneys that are working with her, which is about 15 attorneys in the office, they will be happy to help you out with your immigration questions. Today, Mrs. Margaret Wong is in the city of Columbus, and we are having our awesome attorney, Amanda, who is talking about this cancellation of removals, and also people that need to show up in court. So one of the other things that happened with people that have entered in the last 3 years is that they are giving a notice. It's not a notice to appear, but they have to report to ICE in 60 days. But most people don't do that. Most people don't do that. So what happens if people don't show up in front of ICE after they enter to the United States?
That can vary based on situation. A lot of the time we can contact ICE on your behalf and try to work with them to try to remedy the situation. But talking to an immigration attorney is a great way to kind of work through that situation. And it can go different ways depending on individuals' circumstances and what prevented them from showing up to their appointment.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, if you have any other question, you can feel free to write it down in our comments, and we will see them coming in. Somebody is asking about Spanish. Okay, I'm going to say this in Spanish. Liliana, la abogada, tiene un canal en español, es la página en Facebook en español. Usted puede entrar a Margaret W. Wong and Associates en español. Y ahí tenemos el show los miércoles a las 9:30 de la mañana para que usted pueda hacer sus preguntas y se las van a contestar completamente en español. Así que muchas gracias por su comentario y la esperamos el próximo miércoles a las 9:30 de la mañana, hora del este de los Estados Unidos, en el Facebook en español de la abogada. Okay, the next question is, my name is Rashish Patel. I am from India, entered through Canada and have been in the U.S. peacefully. What happens if I file an asylum? I have 4 children born in the U.S.
That kind of depends on several different factors. First of all, when you entered the United States, in order to be eligible for asylum, you have to have submitted that application within 1 year of your arrival in the United States. However, if you are past that 1 year mark, there are a few ways to get around that requirement, or you may also be eligible for withholding of removal, which is kind of similar to asylum, but not quite the same, and also protection under the Convention Against Torture. If you've been in the United States for at least 10 years, you may be eligible for cancellation of removal as well.
Okay, thank you very much, attorney, for this answer. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you need to call to talk to the attorneys in the law firm of Margaret W. Wong and Associates. The attorney Margaret W. Wong has been working in this field for over 47 years, and she has offices in 7 cities at the moment. In the city of Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one. You just need to call one phone number. They will set up the appointment for you and the next visit of the attorney Margaret W. Wong, and you will be more than happy to go and talk to her. She will be happy to answer all of your questions. And the phone number is just 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. When she started back in 1977, she only had one desk, no secretary, and well, it was a hard beginning, but now she has 15 attorneys working together with her, plus over 60 people working in the law firm that are willing to help you in your immigration. Okay, so we have more questions coming in. So thank you so much, attorney, for having us in this show. And the next question says, I had a hearing, but I got confused and I went to the wrong building of the immigration court. When I got there, I got to the courtroom 7 minutes late. The judge told me that the case was closed and that I had to file a motion to reopen my case, which I did the next day. But then it was denied. What should I do now?
So one factor in that is the reason why it was denied. So we need a little more information to discuss your case specifically. So, of course, would recommend consulting with an experienced attorney. Sometimes those can be appealed, or under certain circumstances, another motion to reopen could be filed. Another option is your attorney can reach out to DHS and explain the circumstances to them, and ask them to join us in a motion to reopen your case. If you can show that you had a good reason that you didn't attend your hearing, and that you don't have an extensive criminal record and things like that, they may be willing to help you get your case reopened.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, attorney, for this case. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and you can talk to the attorneys in the law firm of Margaret W. Wong and Associates. Can children under the age of 18, minors, apply for asylum by themselves?
Yes, minors can apply for asylum. If their parents are also applying for asylum, the minors can be added to their application as well. The best way to go about that, of course, depends on individual circumstances. But in short, yes, minors can apply for asylum by themselves or with a parent.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question says, do I need to be in the United States to apply for asylum?
In order to apply for asylum, yes. There is a similar form of relief, refugee status, for people who are not yet in the United States. But those who are seeking the United States protection when they are already in the country would be applying for asylum.
Okay, thank you very much. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Attorneys in the law firm of Margaret W. Wong and Associates. My wife was deported back in 2019. She got her waiver granted. Now we are doing the consular process. It's taking forever. Why is it taking so long?
Unfortunately, the courts and USCIS are all very, very backed up, with so many applications coming in. The COVID-19 pandemic also kind of put a delay on things when people weren't going into the office, and things weren't happening in person. So there is a large backlog, and that has caused a lot of delays.
Okay. Yeah, we just need to be patient. 2019 was a good year right before 2020, and I remember 2020 was a delay for everything, and a lot of motions to do telephonically the hearings, and that was a tough time. It's been really tough after COVID, and I don't think, attorney, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they are not current yet in most of the cases after COVID. It was a huge delay after that situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, the next question says, can I apply for asylum even if I was convicted of a crime?
Yes, you can apply for asylum. There are certain offenses that would be a bar to that, depending on the severity. But even if you aren't eligible for asylum, you may also be eligible for withholding of removal and protection under the Convention Against Torture. And all three of those forms of relief are, they use the same application, the I-589 application. So depending on what sort of crime you were convicted of, dictates what sort of relief you may be eligible for.
Okay, thank you very much, attorney. Don't forget, the attorney Margaret W. Wong is in the city of Columbus today. And next week, on Thursday, she will be in the city of Nashville. But you can talk to one of the attorneys. And by the way, thank you so much, Attorney Amanda, for taking some time to talk to the people, because we know you are usually in court fighting for the rights of the people, fighting for your clients. And we know that your time is valuable. And well, most people don't know how hard it is to spend a whole day in the immigration court. I think it's the 13th floor there in Cleveland. So it's a very long time inside of the same building. We have a next question coming in. I am 33 now. I entered at the age of 17 and filed asylum, but left to my country and came back. I am from El Salvador. Nobody noticed that I left and came back. Now I have my hearing coming in December, and I am really scared. I applied for the asylum at the age of 17.
Okay. That does happen sometimes, where people leave the United States and come back during their immigration proceedings. And the best thing you can do is be honest. The truth has a way of coming out, and for certain forms of relief, you need to be able to demonstrate continued presence in the United States. And you prove that through things like apartment leases, utility bills, tax returns, things like that. So if you left and came back, the best thing you can do is update your application and be honest about your departure, your reason for coming back. If anything happened to you while you were out of the country, put that in there as well. And of course, talk to your attorney. Make sure they know and have everything up to date and correct for you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Amanda. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984. 7 offices across the United States of America: Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Columbus, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one: 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Okay, we have this question, but also I'm going to make another question together with this one, because someone wants to know what a biometrics appointment is, but basically this other person is asking, she went to the biometrics appointment for I think it's an asylum application. She went to the biometrics appointment for an asylum application, but then she had her first court hearing here in Atlanta. So her question is, because they stopped the clock. Why did the clock stop at this point? If she went to the biometrics appointment, she went to the court, but now they said that the clock is not running, so she can file the work permit. What's going on here, and what should she do?
So a biometrics appointment is an appointment with USCIS where they take your fingerprints and things like that, so they can verify your identity and your background. As far as the clock stopping for a work permit, that would be something to talk to your immigration attorney about so they can evaluate your individual circumstances.
But this is not something that usually happens, that when a person has to go to court and goes to court, they stop the clock. That is not something like regular.
In immigration proceedings, the clock stops when the notice to appear is issued. So that can happen at the border if someone is apprehended, or it can happen if you file an application with USCIS. The notice to appear is the beginning of immigration proceedings, and that's why the clock stops.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you very much, attorney, for this answer and clarifying to the audience what's going on in this particular point. The next question is, can I still apply for a work permit even if I have not completed a biometrics appointment yet?
You would need to go to your biometrics appointment in order to, you apply for biometrics when you apply for asylum or withholding of removal and things like that. So you would need to attend that appointment whenever it's scheduled. You can apply for a work permit 151 days after that asylum application is submitted.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have another question that is coming through a message. It says, I have my TPS approved. I am from Venezuela. I was wondering if I should file for asylum because some people say that the TPS is something that they could stop renewing at some point. Uh, would you recommend for me to file asylum? I have been here for 2 years.
You can apply for asylum based on changed circumstances in your country or changed circumstances for yourself if that TPS expires. So, for example, you came here on your TPS. If that TPS were to expire, but you still fear that you would be persecuted based on your race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group, then you could apply for asylum.
Okay, thank you very much. This person says now, hello, I am from Nigeria and I live in Canada. My wife lives in the United States with my kids. I come from time to time to visit them with my passport, and there's no problem. But I would like to stay with my family in one place. How can I do this? Could my wife or my kids file for me so I can come definitely to live in the United States?
Yes, your wife could petition for you. That would be Form I-130. And along with that, you would file just evidence that your marriage is legitimate. That can be pictures of the two of you together, pictures of you with your children's birth certificates, and things like that. Once that I-130 is approved, because you've been entering the country legally, you would likely be eligible to adjust your status at that point.
Okay, thank you so much, attorney. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, attorney in the office of Margaret W. Wong and Associates. Can I apply for asylum if I have parole or TPS?
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of similar to one of the other questions we had. You can apply for asylum anytime you fear that you'll be persecuted in your home country, or if you faced past persecution based on your race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another question. It comes from Krupa Patel. How to reorder employment card? It was sent to the address at the same time. I changed address in post office. That's why post office didn't deliver the card. So it's going. Is it going back to the sender?
If you didn't update your address with the post office, it is likely that they're sending it back to the sender. You could try to contact them and see if it could be resent. Or if you were working with an attorney, the easiest way would probably be to contact your attorney and they can have it resent for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I think we already had the prior question, and but this next question says I was deported back in 2007, had a 10-year bar, never tried to enter again. Can I apply for B2 visa again?
To be honest, I don't work with the B2 visas very often, but we have a lot of different experts in our offices, and I am very confident that one of them would be able to answer that question for you.
Okay, thank you very much, attorney. And well, before we dismiss, we only have a few minutes, attorney. But due to so many cases and so many delays, I think somebody asked this question earlier today, but is it recommended for people that have been in the United States for over 10 years to file an asylum and maybe stay here with a work permit and maybe health insurance? But how long is it taking from the time that they file until they have the interview or until they have to go to court?
That can vary a lot depending on the circumstances. Depending on if there are any other forms of relief that they're filing, depending on whether they are detained or not. When someone is detained, that hearing can come up within a matter of weeks or months. For people who aren't detained, sometimes it can be even a year or two before they go to court for their individual hearing.
So, from the moment that they file for the asylum until a potential order of removal, it would be about 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, it can be. And depending on what people decide to do after getting that removal order, it can take even longer than that. Once the judge makes a decision on your asylum case, you have a right to appeal. So you have 90 days to submit that. And once it is filed, the Board of Immigration Appeals will send your attorney what's called a briefing schedule. And that is when their briefs are due. And that can also take a matter of years.
Okay, thank you very much, attorney. And we have 1 more minute for just any comments. But thank you so much for your time today. It's been an awesome conversation, and all of the answers have been really accurate so that people can learn what they can do and what they cannot do regarding to immigration. For now, thank you very much, Attorney Amanda, and see you in the next opportunity.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. And for everybody that has joined us today, don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Attorneys in the office of Margaret W. Wong and Associates, with over 7 offices across the country. Is in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, where the headquarters are, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one. It's 216-279-3984. See you next time. Have a good lunch. And thank you very much.